Aromatic Chat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. I'm your host, Melissa. I'm a holistic life coach and a registered aromatherapist. Join me every other week as we chat with aromatherapists and hear about their aromatic journeys and how they use essential oils in their lives and in their businesses.
Hey friends, welcome to podcast episode number 30, Aromatic Chat with Karin Frost-Madrid. She is the owner of Mia Botanicals out in New Mexico. So if you're in that area, I know that there are some local stores where you can pick up the products that she makes. I'm really excited to get to talk with her and hear more about her aromatic journey. So let's get started. So how are you today?
I am doing really well, thank you. Busy day as always, but I've been looking forward to us meeting for a while. I appreciate your flexibility and having to shift the schedule so many times.
Yeah, life happens, unfortunately, gets in the way of a lot of things, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just excited that we're finally able to connect. I think it's wonderful.
Thanks. I think so too. I really appreciate what you're doing for the profession and sharing your knowledge. I mean, you've really been helpful to me in my new role with AIA, and so you've always been really helpful. So thank you for that.
Well, that just makes me happy because here I am, 51 years old, and I finally figured out what my passion is. I was talking with my oldest son the other day. He's like, "Well, that's always been your passion." I said, "Yeah, but now I've realized it." So my passion is seeing other people succeed. So whatever I can do to make that happen or help facilitate that, just it fuels me. It makes me happy. It makes me light up and gets me excited. So to hear that I'm helping you in your role, that just thrills me beyond belief.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So I was looking at your website. Wow. I had no idea.
It's so interesting. For a long time, well, I've been involved in playing in the dirt. My nickname is the New Mexico Dirt Girl because I love being in the dirt with the plants and things like that. And I had a period of time where I had a lot of time on my hands while I had my day job, and that's what came of it. And I'm constantly tweaking it and having new ideas and moving forward with various things. But I do have a team of people that help me. They're all volunteers, thank goodness. But it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it.
It's different from the other sites that I visited. I kind of anticipated that you were just practicing aromatherapy, but you're creating products. You have them in local stores. You've got the bloom boxes. I was like, what is going on here? Because you're in our meetings, you're so like, yeah, well, I'm here and I showed up and I'm doing things. But this is like next level doing things. What?
Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. It was a hobby that's turned into a passion, and it's actually helped me balance my day job. I told you I have a day job, and
yeah.
So it's a struggle to keep them both in their place because I could go crazy on this side and shirk my duties on the other. So I have to be careful.
Well, that's a balance that we all kind of struggle with, I think.
Some of the downfalls or whatever I've had with my business and my life is that whole balance thing. I get caught up in the rush and go 150 miles an hour and then realize, ooh, I don't have enough Cheerios left to do everything else.
Yeah. And I think that's a struggle across the board with healers in general. But then you add in the fact that you're also a woman. And that's just kind of how we run as women, right? There's things that just need to get done. So I'm just going to do all the things that need to be done. And we set ourselves aside all the time.
As I've learned in my aging process, that comes home to roost.
Yes, it does. When we're young, we just think we're invincible, right?
Yeah, I learned that from my mom. She was an incredible woman, and the more I reflect, the more I realize I could never be the superwoman she was, but she really taught my sister and I to be really strong and independent, and it's been good, but you have to have that balance for yourself.
Absolutely. And you know, when we were younger, the idea of self-care was non-existent. We just went and went and went and did and did and did and worked and worked and worked. When would you say self-care actually became a front and center type of concept?
I still, for the most part, I see some of my friends and they haven't learned it yet. I think it's the millennial generation that finally is snapping us up into awakening, because that generation seems to be the most thoughtful, forward thinking and balanced group I think I've run across in people. And really grateful for that, because somebody had to turn us around.
I so appreciate you bringing that up. I have a lot of friends who are in that millennial category, and they feel so marginalized. They feel as if they don't matter. So I'm really thankful you brought up that generational idea that they're the ones that are bringing it to the forefront.
They're incredible. And, I can understand, just me personally, why they might feel that way. There's just so many challenges and that need to be overcome that feel really dire. I have nieces that are in that generation, and I love their thoughts and their passions. It rejuvenates me to hear them speak. So I hope that they can become the people that really lead us through all of the things that are going on now for our future.
I saw a couple of posts actually about millennials just in the last few days. One of them was the oldest millennials are turning 40 this year. And I was like, oh, wow, that's true. And I think when people think millennial, they're still picturing teenagers. I don't think they're picturing these people who have already, gone through a good chunk of life.
Yeah, that wasn't pictured in my head. Like I said, it was my nieces, and they're in their mid to late 20s.
So any
Absolutely.
millennials who might be listening to this podcast, you are not overlooked. You are not marginalized. At least Karin and I thoroughly appreciate you.
They definitely are. They give me hope for the evolution of our culture in our country and the world, actually, because you see the major things that are shifting because of them. Yeah, I cherish them very much.
So how is New Mexico today? What's the weather like there? We have the same day every day here. So I'm just curious to know.
So, last week we were getting really nice rains. I live in the high desert. We're right under 7,000 feet. And I could just hear the earth just singing because it's been so dry. We have such a horrible drought. And yeah, well, for me, nature has been super important in my life since I can remember. And it really is the fabric of my life. And I am a lifelong naturalist. I really care about the earth. I care about our natural resources, our wildlife. That is really what grounds me and makes me feel happy and healthy. So when I say that, I can picture this earth singing, I really feel that. I think that there are voices that we just no longer hear because we're so disconnected from nature.
I agree 100%.
People need to reconnect back to nature. A lot of issues that we're facing now in this point in time because we are so disconnected. So I applaud those folks that go out and take their hike, as long as they take their trash out with them.
Now's the time to start teaching leave no trace in like droves.
Yes, that's an important piece. And when people aren't used to going out in nature like that, they may not think about that. But whatever you pack in, you're packing out, and making it beautiful for everyone else.
Yes.
As my day job, as I continue to climb the ladder, if you will, in my profession, I found that less and less of my time was outside.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I woke up and realized that the negative impacts of living in a cubicle for 10 to 12 hours a day had on me emotionally and, in my opinion, in my own wellness. And so the aromatherapy piece was a natural connection for me, because I could reconnect with nature through an essential oil or blend as often as I needed to, even if I couldn't leave my cubicle.
Well, that is a perfect segue into hearing more about your aromatic journey. So Would you tell us a little bit more about how you ended up here with Mia Botanicals and all the amazing products that you offer, and just how you got started in aromatherapy, the why behind what you do?
There was a time that I really dove into personal care products because of all of the things that you started hearing about, of the chemicals and things that were in there. And so really Mia's Botanicals started out as that. And I looked to essential oils for the scent. That was way before any education in aromatherapy. What I found interesting is I was gifting things to my family for Christmas or whatever, and to friends. And I was shocked at the positive response was. I don't know why, because I was looking at it as, a hobby, just something to do. That continued to amaze me, and that's when I started the Mia's Botanicals. After that occurred, then I thought, I really need to educate myself on essential oils. And so I worked through the program, and I got my holistic aromatherapy certification, and I continue to take classes and things like that with AIA, and so what that has done for me is it's completely opened up a whole new world for me. I still have the products and things like that, but my focus became more on the formulation of my blends, and I really wanted to focus on emotional and energetic support.
So there's so many different ways that we can come at aromatherapy, right? We have clinical aromatherapists, we have certified aromatherapists. This idea of the energetics, would you explain how you use aromatherapy as energetic support?
It is more a feeling that I have around the oils, and smelling them and getting that feel of what I feel like they can do is really the more intuitive piece of it. There's some definite therapeutics and things, and there's a lot of studies around that. But for me, it is more the feeling I get when I experience them that helps me to formulate my blends. So it's not a real scientific kind of thing. It's more emotional response.
Right. That's amazing. When I was in school at ACHS, we had to do a presentation. I don't even remember, it was so long ago, but I did an introduction of clary sage like it was a friend, right? Instead of just, oh, here's information about this essential oil. I gave her a personality and introduced her like it was a friend that I was sitting down and having coffee with. And I think what I'm hearing you say is that the essential oils themselves have their own personalities, and you kind of connect with them that way.
Yep, that explains it a lot better than I try to. It is. I mean, I think, and certainly the chemistry and the therapeutic side is important. For me, I needed to focus. But what I've found for the people that I have met, the clients that I have, it is really the emotional and energetic response that I want to help them with. I want to help support that for them. And that was born out of my own need as well. In some of the work that I've done in the past, it was extremely stressful, and I couldn't shut my mind off from it. I would worry, and I would work, and so what I found with essential oils was that personality, I like that phrase, of essential oils, specific ones for me, really helped me and supported me emotionally through some tough stuff. And so what I found is I know a lot of people who feel that way. And so that's really the niche that I wanted to fill.
I'm just sitting here thinking about all of the plants and how they're all so unique. Their flowers, their scent profile, all so unique. And then I started thinking about like people, right? We're all unique also. Every single one of us is our own individual person. And there are some people that I don't get along with, and there are some people that I just am drawn to. And I feel like essential oils are very much the same way. There's some that I smell and I just go, ew, I don't even want that in my life. Not today anyway. And then there's others that you just want to, just soak in. When people come to you as an aromatherapist, they're coming to you with a problem. What are the most common problems that people seek you out for?
The biggies for me that I see are individuals that have high anxiety, stress, inability to calm their mind, or even relax. And some, have just been, they don't feel, depressed might be too strong of a word, but they're not in a mindset that they feel good about themselves and emotionally. And none of this is, physical ailments or whatever else. Again, it's emotional stuff. And most of my essential oil blends are based upon a specific situation for someone. Basically, just talking with them and hearing what is going on with them and how they perceive the reasons why and things like that all are taken into account when I formulate the blends. So I have one client who's going through a really, really nasty divorce and was having really high emotions around it, obviously, but it was to a point for this person that it was tearing them down and they were losing value of themselves. And it was really difficult to see them going through that. And I learned, the kind of scents that they like, what kind of essential oils they liked. And I formulated a blend for this person. And it included clary sage. That's funny that you brought that up. And as well as some other oils. And checking back with this person a few times, they expressed to me that it really helped them feel protected, supported, and loved. So, and that was exactly what I was trying to accomplish for them, because it felt to me like that was the kind of emotional support that they needed for the situation they were in. And another one that was profound for me too was similar to my experiences, someone who was really anxious, stressed out, overworked. It was a teacher, and I love teachers. They are so not appreciated as much as they should be. In talking with this individual, learned the situations and things like that, and I made her a blend that included geranium. And just the look on her face when she first smelled it, I wanted to cry, because you could just see the immediate relief for her emotionally. And that means something to me, to see the effect that kind of thing has on people. So those are my two happy stories, I guess.
I love happy stories. I didn't know I should have gotten out my story, Matt. Oh. No, I do. I love those happy stories because, as aromatherapist, there's always those stories that stand out, those ones that make us just go, this is why I love aromatherapy. What would you say would be the thing that stood in the way of you getting me at Botanicals really where you wanted it to be?
I want to do everything all at once. and and so I always equate it to the bright, shiny objects. I love chasing bright, shiny objects. And this is true of my own personal life too. So it's a lesson that I obviously have not learned. For me as Botanicals, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to have classes. I wanted to have products. I wanted to make custom products for people on the website. I wanted to do all these things. And like I mentioned before, it's just me. And I do have a team of people that help me with the website and blogs and things like that. But it was fun at first, just the excitement. I'm also an adrenaline junkie, which is really scary. And until one day I realized that I couldn't juggle all those balls. And so I had to really take some time to think about what I really wanted to accomplish and still enjoy it, because otherwise I would have just overwhelmed myself and it would have become a chore, which you don't ever want that to happen. What I ended up doing is taking a step back and just really reflecting on what was important to me. And I go back to my roots, being a naturalist, a master gardener, those kind of things. And it is really tied to the natural piece and how aromatherapy fits into that for emotional wellness. And so anyway, I just set goals and priorities and timelines. When I wanted to go chase that shiny object again, then I would go back to my plan and remember where I was and I would put my bright, shiny object on the list of items to do for the future. They're not forgotten because there's always ideas floating around.
That is amazing. Did you have help figuring out to do that, or did you just intuitively know that that's what needed to be done, like the step back and reevaluate and create a plan? Did you have help doing that, or was that just you?
It was just me. That's part of some of the stuff I do in my day job, and I just needed to stop and realize that I needed to do that for this. So
that is an amazing skill, Karin.
Thanks.
It
It drives people crazy sometimes.
What is it about that process that drives other people crazy, may I ask?
Because it's methodical and purposeful and predictable. Some people just want to get to the finish line, but you really can't get to the finish line without all those other pieces.
Yeah, and if a failure to plan is a plan to fail, right?
That's exactly right.
Oh, I am so enjoying chatting with you. Here we're at the part where we get to share, what are your top 3 favorite essential oils? And for some of the aromatherapists I talk with, it's easy. They're like, oh, this, and this is why. And some others have to really stop and think about it. So what are your top 3 favorites?
Going back to what you said, some people will run from it or are attracted to it. The first one for me is spikenard. I love spikenard. I actually use it in a few blends for myself and for clients to help with aiding in reducing anxiety and grounding and the insomnia piece. And I have a funny story about that one, which I almost embarrassed to say. But I made a blend one time that had copious amounts of spikenard and lavender and chamomile.
Oh my word.
I put quite a bit in my lotion and I put it on, and then I had to go to a meeting, and guess what happened?
Oh
Oh, it was a difficult meeting. I embarrassed myself. So it was a great blend, and I use it at the right time of day because it really did help relax me, and I was really happy. So I love spikenard. I also love fregonia. For me, it is an empowering feeling with that essential oil. The smell is not profound. You wouldn't recognize it as like you do lavender or whatever else, but it really helps me with the grounding and balancing. So I use that in a blend in my shampoo in the mornings, and it just gets me in the right frame of mind, in the right emotional state to take on the day. And then geranium. I know some people hate the way geranium smells. And for the plant, I never really cared about the smell of the plant, but I really like the essential oil. And for me, it's balancing and uplifting. And it is slightly floral, but more herbaceous. And I use that in a roller applicator, diluted to safe levels, but I'll use that throughout the day if I start to feel my teeth clench because I'm getting stressed out or whatever, then I pull that out of my purse and use it. So those are the 3 that I really love.
That's a great story about the spikenard. I really like that.
I knew.
It's good to experiment on ourselves, right? And figure out what works and what doesn't work. Well, how could people experience these essential oils that you love? How could they experience them? Do you have any blends on your website?
I have several blends, but on the website you can type in spikenard in the search, and it will bring up all of the products that have that in there. I call that particular blend Rest for obvious reasons. And then the fregonia I have in quite a few different ones. And then the geranium is in my Armonia, which is Spanish for balance. And that one has been probably one of my more popular ones as of late. So yeah, you can definitely search for that on the website in the search field, just those oils, and it'll bring them up.
I'm curious to know, how did you come up with the name Mia's Botanicals?
What's interesting about that is, so this is a family kind of story. There was a significant person in my paternal family's life in Germany, and very, very close person who during the war didn't make it, and her name was Mia. And so because of that, it just felt right to call my little company Mia's Botanicals.
That's a beautiful way to eulogize someone.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what's getting you really excited right now? What are you working on that's just got you, I don't know, just over the top, either personally or professionally?
I really, especially with this whole virtual lifestyle we've had with COVID, I really wanted to embrace a collaboration with other individuals on a holistic wellness kind of journey. So basically what we're doing, we're building a community of holistic wellness professionals to really tend to all of our aspects of our wellness, body, mind, and spirit. I believe that our bodies, ourselves, are gardens that we need to continue to cultivate. We kind of talked earlier about self-care and how important that is. And it's not just women that are ignoring themselves. And I'll be blunt, it's everyone. And so wanting to have a community of these folks, including me as the aromatherapist, and sharing information, offering virtual sessions, whether it's in yoga or herbal recipes or what have you, but continue to have this community discussion on holistic wellness. I'm really excited about the folks that I'm working with, and the hope is that we will have a virtual community kind of environment where we can actually meet and talk about things and share tips and tricks with everyone. So that's a biggie. So we've been working on this for a while now, and hopefully we'll have that virtual community the first of next year.
That sounds amazing.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've worked with these folks before through various, we've had newsletters and things like that, but this whole COVID thing, I'm an introvert by nature. So, when you're talking about in meetings, I'm really quiet. Well, that's really who I am, although people would argue differently. But even during COVID, I felt like it was too much isolation. And so in talking with my peers that are part of this community project, we wanted to have something that even if we go back to normal at some stage, we can still have our community and reach across the state boundaries and the cities and even countries if that's where it goes, just to have that sense of community on holistic wellness.
How can people find you if they wanted to purchase some products from you or work with you as an aromatherapist? How can they find you?
Well, I do have a website, Botanicals.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know that I'm going to be doing a whole lot of some of those other ones. For your listeners, there is a offer for your folks, 20% off the things that are on the website. AromaChat is the coupon code, so when they go check out, they would get 20% off.
Thank you for offering that. That is amazing. I think everything that you're doing is really fabulous. And like I said, I was just really floored at your website when I went on there. It was more than I was expecting. I hope that you get a lot of traffic to your website as a result of our talk today, because I think people are really going to be pleased when they land there. I really do.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Melissa.
Do you have any final inspiring words or any words of wisdom that you would like to leave with my listeners before we close?
Well, I would just say that remaining connected to nature is really important for our well-being, emotionally and otherwise. I think that in order for us to truly flourish, that we must remain connected. If you can't get out there and enjoy and be part of nature, then aromatherapy, I see that as nature in a bottle. It will help support that connection, but get out there and get dirty and enjoy nature.
Karin, thank you so much. I'm so glad we were finally able to connect for this podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you for all the great work that you do, Melissa. I really appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thank you, Karin.
Hey friend, at the beginning of our chat today, Karin and I talked about my passion to help others succeed. And I wanted to remind you that I am a master transformational life coach. We also talked about finding balance in our lives, and this is one of the things that I help my clients with. And I just wanted to let you know that I am here for you. If you visit lemonbalmcoaching.com, you can learn about what I do and schedule a free discovery session. Karin was so generous in offering my listeners 20% off of the retail items on her website. When you visit Mia Botanicals, be sure to use the code AromaChat to get that amazingly generous offer. I am so honored that you choose to listen to each episode and that you share Aromatic Chat with your friends and family. Every time I see that there's been another download, I am doing a happy dance over here in paradise. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform, and be sure to check out the show notes for all of the links mentioned in today's episode. If you enjoy Aromatic Chat, be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcast. You can find me, your life coach and registered aromatherapist, on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com. I will see you next time in the next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.